We are currently witnessing the greatest vanishing act in the history of global economics, and almost no one is watching the stage. While the financial world is distracted by cryptocurrency volatility and tech stock valuations, a critical element of modern civilization is quietly disappearing from the Earth's surface. This isn't hyperbole. It is a mathematical inevitability. We are walking blindfolded into a resource crisis so severe that historians will look back at this specific moment as the point of no return. We are not just facing a shortage. We are facing a total structural failure of the silver market. The fuse has already been lit, and the explosion will be known as a solar panic. To understand the gravity of the situation, you must first unlearn the traditional definition of silver. For centuries, it was money, jewelry, and silverware heirlooms passed down through generations. That world is dead. Today, silver is the invisible nervous system of the digital age. It is the most conductive metal known to physics, and without it, the modern world goes dark. But here lies the terrifying paradox. As our thirst for technology accelerates, the well is running dry. We are currently consuming silver faster than the Earth is willing to yield it, and the deficit is widening by the day. The supply side of this equation is currently in a state of paralysis. For 7 consecutive years, global mining output has flatlined. It is a frozen landscape. In 2024, despite record prices and desperate demand, mine production barely moved, registering less than 1% growth. Major producers like Mexico and Chile are seeing their output degrade due to aging infrastructure and geological exhaustion. But the real nightmare for the supply chain is a geological quirk known as the byproduct trap. 72% of the world's silver comes from mines that aren't even looking for it. It is a secondary prize found while digging for copper, lead, and zinc. This means that even if the price of silver triples tomorrow, miners cannot simply flip a switch to produce more. They are bound by the demand for base metals, making the silver supply inextricably rigid in the face of an elastic, exploding demand. While the mines stagnate, a voracious beast has awoken in the energy sector. The photovoltaic solar industry has transformed from a niche consumer into a market predator. In just 1 year, the demand for silver in solar panels surged by 64%. We are now in a situation where a single industry is on track to devour nearly half of the global supply, and the technology is evolving against us. The industry is shifting toward TOPCon, and heterojunction sells advanced technologies that are more efficient but require 50 to 100% more silver per unit. We are attempting to build a green energy revolution, but we are building it with a finite brick that we are rapidly running out of. The sheer scale of this consumption is difficult to visualize. Governments and international bodies have mandated a quadrupling of solar capacity by 2030. If these targets are met, the solar industry alone could demand up to 14,000 tons of silver annually. That is not a marginal increase. That is a systemic shock. Manufacturers are beginning to realize this. Behind closed doors, a silent panic has begun. Industrial giants are bypassing the futures markets and securing physical metal directly from refineries, paying premiums just to ensure their assembly lines don't stop. They know what is coming. This brings us to the most disturbing aspect of the silver market, the concept of permanent destruction. When gold is used, it is hoarded, stored in vaults, or worn as jewelry. It is almost never lost. Silver is different. It is the only precious metal that we treat like a fossil fuel. It is consumed. The silver is your smartphone, in your car's sensors, and in the millions of solar panels covering the desert. It is used in such microscopic quantities that recycling is economically impossible. It is buried in landfills, lost to the environment, gone forever. We are taking a precious monetary metal and scattering it into the wind. Over 600 million ounces of industrial silver are permanently destroyed every single year. The financial markets have not yet priced in this reality because they are looking at the wrong data. They are fixated on the paper price of silver, the futures contracts traded on the comms, which is merely a digital derivative. But the physical market is screaming. Inventories in London and New York are bleeding out. The vaults are emptying at a rate that suggests we are approaching a physical default. When the buffer stocks are finally exhausted, the price will no longer be set by paper traders speculating on interest rates. It will be set by desperate industrial buyers who need the metal to survive. When the shift occurs, the price action will be violent. We have seen glimpses of this in the past, but the coming move will be driven by necessity, not speculation. This is the difference between a bubble and a squeeze. In 2011, silver spiked because people wanted to own it. In the coming years, silver will spike because companies need to use it. There is no substitute. You cannot build a high-efficiency solar panel with copper. You cannot build a 5G network with aluminum. The laws of physics dictate that silver is the only option, and the laws of economics dictate that when infinite demand meets finite supply, the price has no ceiling. We are already seeing the cracks in the dam. The gold to silver ratio, a historical measure of value, is stretched to extreme levels, signaling that silver is trading at a massive discount relative to its monetary cousin. But unlike gold, silver is facing a structural deficit that cannot be fixed by higher prices alone. It takes 10 years to bring a new mine online. The solar mandates are for today. The math simply does not work. We are heading toward a supply cliff, and the market is currently sleepwalking over the edge. As we look toward the latter half of this decade, the trajectory is clear. We will move through phases of denial, followed by a scramble for inventory, and finally, a parabolic repricing. Analysts are already revising their targets upward, with some forecasting triple-digit silver prices as the deficits compound. But price targets are irrelevant if you cannot source the metal. The real story isn't the price, it's the availability. We are entering an era of resource nationalism, where nations will hoard their silver as a matter of national security. The window of opportunity to position oneself ahead of this shift is closing. The solar panic is not a possibility, it is a process that is already underway. The inventories are drawing down, the mines are tapping out, and the solar fields are expanding. When the world finally wakes up to the fact that we have burned through our heritage of silver to build disposable technology, the panic will be absolute. History is being written in the charts right now. Do not say you weren't warned.